today's session we are going to cover a topic that was requested by one of our users from Finland, Alexi. I hope I pronounced your name right. Okay, well, it's funny, I'm Hungarian and my name is unpronounceable, but anyways, I hope I pronounced it right. So, thanks to Alexi, we have the chance to do some phase modulation synthesis. And let's see what we can come up with. I've been doing my homework and did some research on the topic. And phase modulation synthesis was pretty common in the 80s, especially in Casio type synthesizers. So first thing I want to do is to create a LFO, which is going to be the phase of our the basic of our phase modulation. And I want to connect the frequency, the amplitude to 1, and I want to connect the gate to the MIDI node. But since we output pitch here, we need to convert it to hertz. And we did it. And I want to create a scope. And I want to have the frequency connected to the scope. And in these cases, I like to create a bus, because this way we get nice clean wires that do not overlap. Okay, where's my cone? Here's my cone. And since you want to connect the gate to the scope as well, which makes a lot of sense, I might create a bus for that too. It's a good idea. And align these three guys and connect the gate. And I plug these. I plug the output B to gain in node to start some processing. And there is our first signal already. But I set the scope to hertz input. I press a key on my MIDI keyboard. And voila, we have everything aligned. And phase modulation in Casio synthesizers happens somehow like adding a cosine wave into the function, and there is our sinusoid signal. And that's what we want to have. And first, I want to create a saw wave out of this sine wave, and the methodology is something like we grab this point of this sine wave and move it to the left, and we stretch this part smaller and this part higher. But this is symmetric, we can do the opposite, so we stretch this part smaller and this part too longer. But let's see how we can do this. For this we need to wave shape this LFO, which is this straight diagonal line on the scope. And we can do it pretty simple using this rescaler node. We just need to input the saw wave. And the minimum input 0 is this point, the maximum input, if it's 1 then it's this point, if it's 0.5 then it's this point. And this is what we want to shift to the right or to the left, so we create a constant with 0.5 and we will add some value to it, which is going to be a value that's multiplied by 0.5 and add a knob to it. This is basically just modulation, and we're gonna do it between -1 and +1. So if we are in the center, we do not do anything. If we are on -1, then this point should move to there. If we are on +1, that point should move to there. But for this we need also, we have to declare the outputs, which are going to be between 0 and 0.5. because we want to output 0.5 whenever we move away. And I connect this to the input, and nothing changed on 0. But if I move this up, we will move this point to the right, I think. No, we move it to the left. And you can see how we stretch the signal. And that's exactly what we want to have. But we want to have another frequency from this point, and it should be like that. So create another rescaler, and our minimum input in this case is going to be the value that was the maximum input before. So I put a con here to make it clean, because I'm a maniac. And our maximum is going to be 1. That we know for sure. And our minimum input is going to be the same as it was, and maximum output is going to be 1 again. And we need to create if smaller, and if the phase of the saw wave, or if the value of the saw wave is below this level. So if we are below this point, then we want to output this. If we are above it, we want to output that. And we go there. No, something's not right here. Oh, everything was right. I just forgot to connect the input like this. And now we can shape shift. I press the trigger, so you see how cool this looks. Amazing. And things look quite clean now. What I want to do is to put all these guys into one designer. Like this. And we need to create a pitch input, we need to create a gate input, and we will need to have a pH input and an output. And now I can delete all these guys. It's good like this. And let's create our phase modulation node again from -1 to +1. And we should have the same as we had before. We have it. Let's listen to it. Cool. So what we want to have is to have some modulation on this phase input, and it's pretty simple. Create a crossfader, plug it into the phase, connect the pH to the A input, create an add node, and create another node on the B input, and that will be the env mod, and just create an ADSR which is going to be control the crossfade. And since we were ordinary, we kept everything on its place, we can just move the nodes around. And now, if you play the thing, amazing. One thing I forgot was to put an add node here and put a modulo after that, and the modulo should have one on the B input, and I create another input here and gonna call it to shift SH. This will make sense in a minute because we are copying this oscillator, plug in another one right after it, same gate, same pitch, and same phase, but we are going to shift it with some value, and we get a cosine signal to the right. Let's create a crossfader here. This is going to be the A input, but this time a graphical crossfader because I don't want to create knobs around. And let's use the negative of this cosine. Create an add node. Add these guys together. And one more thing I want to do is to multiply this whole thing by .5, and if I set this to the center of 0.5, we should get a square wave. And you can morph between square and so. Let's set the modulation to 0. Amazing. What else can we do? We can also do some crazy stuff. Like pulse wave modulation. And you can also do something crazy like using this at the sine function. This is going to be another kind of oscillator. Yeah, but I keep it the original way. cool. And something I know that Casio Synth did was simulating resonance, and it's not hard. We can output this saw wave on this output. I call it saw, like this, and we can create an oscillator sine. And what we can do as well is to output a trigger whenever the oscillator gets back to its original phase. So if it's bigger than the previous sample, then we output 1. In every other case we output 0, and this is going to be a trigger. So, and with this trigger we are going to trigger this sine wave, which is having an amplitude of 1, and the pitch is going to be our cutoff between 0 and 128. All we need to do is multiply this by the saw wave, and this way it will decay with this period based on the saw wave, not based on this, but based on the original saw wave, which we don't see on the scope currently. And we can simply crossfade between the original signal and this guy using a simple crossfader, and this value is going to be something like resonance, but I need to crank up the cutoff somewhere, and voila. And of course you can create modulation here again. I just copy this structure, plug it into the P input, I rename this to cutoff, create an envelope, this is the phase envelope, this is the filter envelope. This should be between 0 and 128, 0 and 128, and left. And I also know that they had pretty strange resonance shapes. So this is the saw resonance shape, and you can also create something like a triangle resonance shape. So I create an output, I'm going to call it triangle, connect the saw wave to it. And the way we can convert the saw wave to triangle is to multiply it by 2 and subtract 1 from it, or subtract it from 1, and simply take the absolute value. So this way it's we change its range to between 1 and -1, and the absolute value is taken in back, and it's going to look like a triangle. Let's connect the triangle here. Oh, it's the opposite way. So we have to subtract it from 1 again, like this. And actually this is phase modulation in a nutshell, only with sinusoids and without any complex wave. Actually I'm not that big fan of phase modulation because it creates aliasing and well, it sounds cool actually, because I don't say that I don't like it. It's just not my favorite kind of synthesis, but it's really funny and I really had fun working with this. I hope you had fun watching it and I hope you like this video. I'm gonna share this patch with you and yeah, see you in the next noding session, and I hope you will have fun using Alpha forever. Thanks for watching. Bye bye, happy noding.